Hey, how's everyone doing? I just wanted to get my thoughts down about this whole Asmongold situation, which for the past couple days has had me kind of feeling sick to my stomach, which is pretty stupid, I know. It's kind of parasocially. But it's not that I look up to Asmongold or anything. It's just he's very relatable to me. Like I watch him because I agree with a lot of what he says, and a lot of his life experiences, a lot of the stories he says growing up, I have very comparable stories to it. Like just stupid, scuffed versions of it. Like he told a story about finding a sword in the woods. Well, me and my buddies found a rusty machete in the woods, which we proceeded to make a campfire and then try and reforge it to be usable, which was just us beating it with a rock. And so a lot of things he says, like I relate to. That's a lot of words that I started watching them. Like it just matches up with my own experiences very well. And then he's super entertaining. Uh, like especially when he's playing a game that he's enjoying, like that Sparking Zero playthrough. I was glued to that. I watched all of that. That was so much fun to watch. And then games he's not having so much fun, I usually tune out on those. So I hope he gets back to it, and I hope he plays games that he's having fun doing. But just the way everything has gone down is really just not set right with me. It's left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, just I think that has to do a lot with a lot of things that's been going on with Twitch lately. Like an anime girl's getting banned for having a belly button exposed, but some Twitchy thought can suck off a Twitch admin and be able to show hole on screen with no consequences. Just fucking bullshit. And so it just the way everything went down and how fast it went down just left a really bad taste in my mouth. Asmon gets a 14-day ban. Like, obviously, he went a little too far. Like, he generalized. But I think most people who watch him regularly understood that he wasn't. He was talking about, like, religious fundamentalism and these people that are trying to kill Israelis getting killed. Like, who gives a shit? They're trying to kill people, so if they get killed, fuck them, you know? But obviously, and he even said this several times in previous days that he doesn't want the average Palestinians getting fucking killed. Like, yeah, that's a bum deal. Nobody wants that. But when you got people trying to kill Israelis and then the Israelis kill them, like, yeah, I don't think most people fucking care about that. It's all the innocents getting killed, and it's the generalization that he did that I think was where he went a little too far, and he acknowledged that. But Asman gets a 14-day ban for that, but fucking this piece of shit Hassan gets to go on with a terrorist who's posting memes about fucking killing Israelis, and then he calls him the modern day Anne Frank. Are you serious? Anne Frank, who hid in the attic from Nazis and died in a concentration camp, you're gonna compare that poor girl to a fucking asshole who's posting on fucking Twitter of killing Israelis? Really? Fuck you, Hassan. Fuck you and your whole fucking community with that shit. That's fucking ridiculous. And Twitch ain't even got the balls to just give you a token 24-hour ban for Break It TOS. Like, clearly some people are fucking above the rules there. I think that's what really pisses me off when it comes to the Twitch stuff. It's just their inability to apply TOS equally, you know? Like, I guess fucking Clancy's over there getting his fucking cock washed by all these fucking e-thoughts, so people get passes, you know? But it's whatever, you know? Fuck it. As it'll be back, and then we can get back to enjoying things, you know? Like, but when it comes to, I mean, I'll get to the whole Middle East. That'll probably piss some people off. My thoughts on that. We'll put that at the end. But sticking on the Asman topic here, like the way he's been forced to step in. I wouldn't say forced. He moving or in the past few days, in the past few weeks, you could tell he's not really had his heart in a lot of that. I mean, especially OTK. He starts out with Rich. Rich is gone. It's a lot of responsibilities. It's obvious he's been wanting to step down. He's been wanting to step back and reevaluate his life there, and I think that's totally reasonable. But it's the way it's been done that just doesn't sit right with me. Like immediately after he gets his ban, fucking Starforge makes that statement. Like they don't even the speed at which they did that was ridiculous. Like that's what I don't like. That he wouldn't even give him some time to make his apology before Starforge kicked him to the curb. And then it's the way OTK worded their statement. It made it sound like Asmon was openly and knowingly being fucking racist. Man, fuck off with that shit. Fuck OTK for that. Like, how can they not understand that that's going to piss people off? You make a statement like that. And why even make that statement so fast? I think the way to handle that would have been just wait the 14 days, let Asmon come back, make an announcement on his stream that, hey guys, this has been a lot of responsibility. I've been wanting to step back for a while. This is my choice. I'm gonna step away from leadership roles here and I want to reevaluate my life and things like that. I think a lot of people would have been okay with that. I doubt anybody would have been too upset Asmon wanting to step away on his own. But it's the way it's been done that just does not sit right with me and I bet a lot of people. It just makes it all feel like they're a bunch of snakes and they're throwing him under the bus at the very first chance they get. Like they couldn't even wait a few days before fucking stabbing his ass in the back. Just what motherfuckers. Even if that's not how it is behind the scenes, that's how it's going to be perceived by most people. And all the people at ODK are supposedly his friends. I'm sure privately they're talking to him and you know, being friends behind the scenes. Like he even mentioned in Asmon's video, Asmon mentioned that S-Fan reached out to him and things. But you know, none of them have come publicly other than to condemn him, except for Tectone. You know what a bro Tectone is. Out of all of them, I think the only real one there is Tectone. Like Tectone immediately comes out next day and is like, "Hey, Asmon's my buddy. I'm always going to be there for him. He's been there for me." Yeah, W Tectone. Of all the people there, you'd think it's Tectone who's actually got his back. So I don't know. It's not that I wish OTK any downfall or whatever. You know, I wish them all the best, but moving forward, I'm probably just not going to bother with any of their stuff. You know, if you still enjoy OTK programs, awesome. I wish them the best, but this whole situation really left a bad taste in my mouth, so I'm probably done. I'll probably keep watching Tectone because, you know, W Tectone, even though I hate all his fucking takes on anime girls and whatnot, but he's entertaining and he's a real bro. He's a generally good dude, it seems, from everything I've looked at. And I'll definitely keep watching Asmon. I look forward to him coming back. Hopefully he'll play some games he's having fun with, because that's always fun to watch. But that's just kind of how I see it. Like even if behind the scenes that's not how it is, and Asmon did want to step down and all that, but just the way it's been handled just fucking feels icky to me. Feels like they're a bunch of backstabbing fucking rats. But that's kind of my thoughts on Asmongold there and all that. So feel free to stop watching the video here. So while I get into the shit that's probably going to piss people off, and that's going to be my thoughts on the Middle East kind of situation there. Like obviously you got a lot of good people there, a lot of innocent people who are just trying to live their lives. And when it comes to Palestine in particular, I know I see a lot of people like, oh, well, they voted Hamas in. It's like, man, a bunch of kids voted Hamas in over a decade ago. Fuck off with that. Like, come on. And, oh, well, they got high approval rating. It's like, yeah, you ask a guy what he thinks of Hamas, he looks over his shoulder. There's a couple dudes with AKs. Like, oh, yeah, dudes with AKs are fucking great. don't murder me, please. Like, come on. Let's be real there. Like, obviously, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into a lot of that. But that's not to say they're entirely innocent either. Like, when you're shooting rockets into another country all the time, like, obviously that country's going to be fucking pissed off. Like, Mexico shoots one bottle rocket over into Texas, and we got Marines in Mexico City fucking next day. Like, let's be real here. Israel 100% has a right to defend itself. Like, it'd be ridiculous not to. And, like, man. Like, I'm obviously no expert on this situation. I can only look at things from my perspective, which, I'm sitting at home in front of a computer. But just from things I've seen, like, there's obviously good and bad on fucking both sides. I've met some really good Muslims, like some really good dudes who are Muslims, and I've actually met some real pieces of shit too. The exact same situation for Christians. Like, it's not the religion at the core that I think's the problem. I've never met that many Jews. The few I've met have been good folks, so I can't really speak much on that. I've met more Muslims than Christians. Like, you look back and all these countries going to war against Israel, and obviously Israel's going to want to defend itself, and like, they've got to have a defense system to shoot down missiles that are always being shot into their fucking homes. Of course they're fucking pissed off. And then that's not to say Israel's entirely innocent. I think they fucking push things a little too far. Like, yeah, kill all these terrorists that are attacking you, but blowing up aid convoys ain't it. That's for fucking sure. And when it comes to Israel in particular, I don't like Netanyahu. I think he's a real fucking piece of shit. I think he is happy October 7th happened because it let him solidify power. Like, everybody remembers back before all that happened, he was on shaky ground. He'd been replaced once, and he barely got back in. And that goes down, and now he's firmly in power. I mean, you're going to tell me the country that can blow the balls off of 3,000 Hezbollah members didn't know a major attack was coming? The country that's watching that region like a hawk? The country that can shoot down fucking bottle rockets coming into airspace, lets a bunch of dudes on paragliders come in? I don't know. That seems sketchy to me. That doesn't sound right to me. Like, that makes me think maybe someone high up, maybe this fucking Netanyahu piece of shit, let that attack happen. Maybe he's like, hey, a couple people turn a blind eye, and we'll let this happen, and then I can hang on to power. Like, obviously the attack was probably way bigger than they expected. But you can't sell that to me that Israel didn't know something was coming. Like, come on. They can make people scared to use cell phones in a whole country, and they didn't know a major attack was coming. Bullshit. But that's not to say now that the attacks happen that Israel shouldn't respond. They get attacked like that. Obviously, you got to respond to that. Now, when it comes to like Iran making a token attack, where they send a bunch of stuff, it all gets shot down. I don't think Israel should respond on that. Let that shit go. Like, Iran gets their embassy attacked. Yeah, they gotta respond to that because people died. But when no people die, you should let that shit go. For the most part. Like, otherwise it's never gonna end. Because then Israel fucking blows a dude up in the Iranian capital. Obviously, Iran has to respond to that because people died. and it just never ends. Like the whole situation in the Middle East is fucking retarded to me. I feel like there's people fighting over beef ancestors had, which is the dumbest shit. You see it happen in a lot of places in the world where there's a lot of fighting. They're fighting over shit that didn't happen to them. It happened to people in history books. Fucking stupid. And get back to Asmon's comments on the inferior culture. I like at its core, obviously he generalized too much. That's a bit too much. But I've got a story that was told to me by an Iranian guy, a really good dude. Grew up in Iran and regularly visited Iran. Regularly visits Iran once a year to visit family. And he had a story for me that has stuck with me really well for all my life since he told it to me. This was probably 10 years ago he told me this. And I'm going to need let me pull paint up here. Boom. Let's make that a little bigger. There we go. Because I need to draw something here. So he told me a story of visiting his home. And he ran into a farmer. Let's see if I can just draw a rudimentary truck here. Boom. Do the truck bed. Do a couple little wheels. Ain't gotta be perfect, just to give you an idea of what's going on here. And this truck, oh, it's not that one. It's too square. This truck had it's one of these kind of trucks where you might see hauling a bunch of hay. Like these, it's like fence, so you can see through it. And then he's ran into this farmer, and in the back of this truck was a bunch of sheep. And we'll do these circles to show the sheep. But this truck was loaded out with so many sheep, they were stacked up all the way to the top here of just sheep stuffed into this one little truck. So many sheep that the sheep down on the bottom were literally being crushed to death. They were bleeding all over, and their guts were coming out, and they were screaming. And these sheep down at the bottom were just being crushed. And he ran into this farmer, and he was complaining to this farmer who was in this truck, because they met up while they were getting gas, I think it was. And he's complaining to this truck driver, why the hell are you doing this? What the fuck, man? These sheep at the bottom are being crushed to death. They're in pain. Why are you doing this? And that driver explained, well, he's taking these sheep to be slaughtered. So it doesn't matter if they die. And then my friend the Iranian, the one I was talking to, complained, well, then why not kill the sheep first? Then it wouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't have to suffer. But the farmer explained that, well, that's a lot more work, and they're just going to dump these sheep down a slaughter chute, and it'll be handled that way. And if he didn't kill the sheep, like killing the sheep would take a long time, and putting the sheep alive is just faster. And also, they stack them like this because then he only has to use one truck. It's cheaper, and it's quicker. One trip. And that story just really stuck with me, Like, obviously, it's stupid cheap. They don't fucking matter. And I can't blame the farmer for just doing his job. Making money, getting food for his family. But at its core, it's like, if you can't show of your own will, with no punishment and no reward for doing it, a bit of sympathy for these sheep, on a cultural level, you're just at the level of that sheep still, in my opinion. And yeah, this was a rural area in Iran. Like, this isn't the norm everywhere. And obviously, my friend's Iranian, and he had sympathy for the sheep, and he talked about how a lot of people he knew were complaining about these farmers with the sheep. But when nothing's getting done about it, and culturally this is allowed, like you do this in my country, someone's gonna call the fucking cops. You can't do this. It's animal cruelty. But when you can't show that of your own will empathy for the sheep, you're emotionally and culturally just a sheep yourself. That's the way I see it. And yeah, this is like you look in my own country and you get to things like what do you call it? Like a big thing is what Asman was talking about, was how they kill gay people and they don't support that. Yeah, you look back into the past of my country and we beat gays to death. And I'd say culturally that time period in my own culture is inferior to how it is today. Like there's levels to these things, the way I see it. And it's not that all Iranians are sheep, but a lot of them are. And I think a lot of that has to do with their religious fundamentalist country or government has just stunted their ability to progress. Like they're stuck in the past still. I don't know, that's just the way I see it. It's not that I hate Iranians. My Iranian friend was a really good dude. A really smart guy too. He was a professor. And a lot of Iranians are great dudes. But until it's culturally not acceptable to crush the sheep in that region, it's just not going to sit very well with me, to be honest. It's not that I hate them for being Iranian. It's just that mentality that governs their daily lives just is off for me. And I don't think I'll ever accept it. And it's not just Iran. I know Hassan tried to make the point that, oh, well, the Palestinians can't progress because they're being bombed. Well, it's not just the Palestinians that are like this. Like you go to Saudi Arabia, and there's a real big problem with rich folks there will hire maids and just abuse the shit out of these maids. And when it's time to pay them, they kick them off a fucking balcony. There's a lot of cases of that. And if your society is stoning people to death because, oh, well, the woman cheated because she didn't resist being raped hard enough, so we're going to stone her to death. When you see cases like that occasionally from that region, it makes you think, wow, these backwards motherfuckers. And it's not that I hate them for being Muslims. I hate them for who they are. It's just culturally, it seems backwards to me. And until they've progressed past the sheep, it's just, I'm not gonna like it. And yeah, I don't want the Palestinians bombed, but Israel absolutely has the right to go in there and kill terrorists. When it comes to that, there's an old Flash game that came out right around the time the Second Gulf War happened that I think kind of was ahead of its time in a lot of ways. The point of the game was you're a drone and you shoot a missile at a terrorist and you kill the terrorist. But there's a lot of civilians around all these terrorists. And if you accidentally kill a civilian, which you were going to do because all these terrorists are next to civilians, the civilian turned into two terrorists. And so it's a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. I think that's the game Israel's playing right now. They're playing whack-a-mole and they're just making more terrorists. Like when you're moving so fast and you're not taking the time to really think about your attacks, that's when you end up blowing up aid convoys. And I think that's the stage Israel's at right now. They're moving too fast. They're not sitting there and thinking before they act. I don't know. The whole situation there is just fucked up. And I'm just a fucking retard sitting here on his computer, so it's whatever. Can't wait for Asmon to get back, and W Tech Tone. I'm gonna watch him a lot more probably now. But that's just kind of my thoughts on the whole situation. I'm gonna throw up my stuff there. I'm gonna try to get back to making videos. Main reason I haven't been making videos and trying to stream and whatnot is because, well, the time I've been free is when Asmon's been on. So I guess it's a good excuse for me to finally get off my ass and try and be somewhat productive. I'm actually super privileged and lucky in my life that I can kind of live like a fucking rat. I could just sit there and watch YouTube all day if I want. When COVID happened, I trimmed out all the fat in my life and I realized, oh, I can just be a fucking neat. Awesome. So, yeah, I'm going to throw up my Twitch and Kick. I'm sure Twitch will fucking ban me eventually, so I'd really appreciate if you go over to Kick and give me a follow. I'm going to probably go live on there. Try and do that regularly. Probably starting next month. I get to live like a neat, but I actually do have things to do this month for a change, so I got to get that done. But then next month, I'm going to try to regularly stream, try to come up with a schedule. So give me a follow on Twitch, and definitely give me a follow on Kick if you don't mind. And then Twitter. Been saying stupid shit on Twitter lately, so I'd appreciate a follow there too. And like or dislike the video, whatever you feel. I'm sure some of you got pissed off here. If you're sucking fucking Hassan's cock, I'm sure you want me dead. But leave a death threat down in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a good one.